Hey, I'm Alex. I went to Purdue University, Indiana, in the United States, and I went for one semester. I actually went on exchange a lot later than a lot of other people. I went in my fifth year. And the main reason I went is that I'd done a bit of traveling and I really enjoyed it. And I really wanted to have the chance to live somewhere else in the world. I knew I wanted to go somewhere in the United States, so all three of my options were American schools. And it turned out I got my second option. I wasn't really bothered which one of the three I got, so I was happy. I found the Global Learning Office was really helpful when I was planning for my exchange. I went in there a bunch of times with loads of different questions, and they were always happy to answer. And even on the days they weren't open, I emailed and I got a response instantly, which was great. Other than that, I found websites online regarding what you wanted to know were helpful. So, you know, the Australian government website has really good info on getting visas for other countries, and all the application forms on there. So I found that really helpful. During the exchange, I was living in a dorm on campus. I had one roommate and two suite mates, so they had two rooms connected by a bathroom. So there's four of you sharing a bathroom, but only one other person in my room. And you're all on a hallway with about 30 other people. Only minor setback would have been that due to the nature of America's drinking laws, even though I was 22 at the time of going, I was unable to drink on dorm grounds because there were a lot of people that were under 21, and so all alcohol was banned. Budgeting for the trip, I used the OS Help Loan, the Travel Beacon Grant, and I'd been working for the last sort of 6 months and over the summer to save for the trip. I ended up spending a lot more than I thought, mostly because the American exchange rate was terrible at the time and still is and was the entire time I was there. And so that ended up costing me a lot more money than I thought. I also traveled quite a bit during the holidays of the semester and for 2 months after the semester. So that ended up costing me a lot more as well. Living on campus, once you paid for the dorm and the food, which you do at the start of the semester, you were pretty much set for day-to-day life. American campuses are insane. Purdue University had everything. A massive recreation center with a climbing wall and 3 swimming pools and 8 basketball courts. They have their own fire department. There are fields everywhere. There's a marching band that comes down the main street every day because they have to practice for the football games. It's just a whole nother world. The course structure was very different over there to here. Over here, you have sort of assignment, quiz, exam is sort of your 3 big pieces, maybe a presentation will make up your entire grade. Over there, they're all about incremental small work. So you'll have something due almost every week, sometimes even more than that. And then there'll be a midterm, a final exam, and 2 or 3 bigger assignments on top of weekly quizzes or weekly worksheets or something like that. So the work was a lot more intense than I'm used to. American universities are all about extracurricular activities, so there is so much to do on campus that isn't study related. I joined the Disney Appreciation Club, which was quite fun. I went to a poetry reading night. I had friends that did volunteer work, tennis, basketball, water polo. Pretty much the list goes on and on. In the first week, there's a fair there that lists all the different things you could go to, and how much it is, how much it costs, and what they expect from you. So there's loads to do. Non-club wise, I took up longboarding while I was over there. I obviously frequented the bar and club scene, being over 21, so you end up making a lot of friends through that because there is quite a divide between people who can go out to bars and people who can't, since they're already mixed because you spend your first 3 years in an American university not being able to go out to town. While I was there, I ended up traveling a lot. I did about 16 states and went to Canada twice. So there's so much to see if you're in America. My recommendation probably would be Boston, I went there for Thanksgiving. It's really historical, but there's also lots of other non-historical stuff to do, and it's a massive city. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, it's a good place to go. Of course, there's so many other places to go as well. If you wanted to go outside of America, I really liked Toronto. I went there for fall break, and yeah, it's a really cool city. A lot of nicely dressed people and lots of very modern, hip things to do. It's really hard to work out what the best part of the exchange was because there were so many good parts to it and I had so much fun. I loved the travelling, but I'd have to say the overall experience of living somewhere else was my favourite part. I just really liked the fact that I knew no one when I arrived and then ended up with a really close network of friends and activities to do, and had this whole new life set up. And I think that's the thing I miss the most. It's just that I started a whole new life somewhere else and got to enjoy it for 4 months. I didn't really know what I expected when I got to America and what I expected from exchange, and it was completely different to any sort of visions or standards I'd set. But one of the most interestingly unexpected things that happened was we ended up becoming friends with a bunch of people who were part of a sort of a, I don't know, not a cowboy frat, but a sort of, country bumpkins. And we ended up going to one of their barn dances. So that was interesting. I think I picked up a few skills that will sort of come handy in whatever career I choose. Firstly, 3 of the subjects that I did required a lot of writing. And so my writing vastly improved while I was away, especially, as I said before, with the constant work. So it meant my skills were just on a steady improvement for the entire semester. Comparing myself to who I was before the exchange is interesting. I've definitely become a lot more of a responsible person, a lot more self-reliant, and in general, more confident. And I think that comes from being in a completely new environment and having to start again. You have to find some confidence within yourself just to go up to people and be like, hey, are you from a different country? I'm from a different country. Let's be friends. And the first few weeks on exchange are just filled with that, just giving people your life story and hearing theirs and just having the courage to just put yourself out there because everyone's in the same boat and wants to make friends. If you're not sure whether you want to go on exchange or if exchange is for you, my advice would be do your research, look up where you want to go and the university you want to go to. There's lots of information online about it, and so you can see if you'd be suited particularly to that university. But I'd also ask you to ask yourself why you don't think you're the sort of person that would want to go on exchange. Not that it's for everyone, but I spent a long time thinking it wasn't for me either. I just thought I'd travel between semesters, and then when I finished and I had more money and I had a good job, and I'm really glad I had the realization that getting the chance to live in America and study somewhere in a university environment is a really unique experience. And so I would say to someone who still isn't sure if they want to go on exchange to really think about it, because it's an amazing opportunity. I had so much fun, and I don't think I've met a single person before, since, or while I was over there doing exchange with people who has said that they regretted doing it. My advice to anyone going on exchange would probably be do a lot of research about your host university before you leave, because I think the way to make the best of things, make the most of things, is to have somewhat of a knowledge when you get there of what you want to do, especially with the extracurricular activities. I was busy the whole time I was there, but there were some points where I wished that from the get-go I'd known exactly what I wanted to do and what clubs to join and done it straight out. If I had to describe my exchange in 3 words, I would use fun, informative, and unforgettable.